Management. Class 8, Chapters 1. Paheli and Bujo went to their uncle's house during summer vacations. Their uncle is a farmer. One day they saw some tools like khurpi, sickles, shovel, plow, etc. in the field. I want to know where and how we use these tools. You have learned that all living organisms require food. Plant can make their foods themselves. Can you recall how green plants synthesize their own food? Animals, including humans, cannot make their own food. So where do animals get their food from? But first of all, why do we have to eat food? Already know that energy from that food is utilized by organisms for carrying out their various body functions such as digestion, respirations, and excretions. We get our food from plants or animals or both. Since we all need food, how can we provide food to largest number of people in our country? Food has to be produced on large scale. In order to provide food for large populations, regular productions, proper management, and distribution is necessary. Agriculture practice till 10,000 BC, people were nomadic, they were wandering in groups from place to place in search of food and shelter. They ate raw fruit and vegetables and started hunting animals for food. Later, they could cultivate land and produce rice, wheat, other food crops. This was brown agriculture. When plants of the same kind are cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called a group. For example, group of what means that all the plant grown in a field are that of wheat. You already know that crops are of different types like cereals, vegetables, and fruit. These can be classified on the basis of season in which they grow. In this vast country, the climatic conditions like temperatures, humidity, and rainfall vary from one region to another. According there is a rich variety of crop grown in different part of the country. Despite the diversity, two broad cropping pattern can be identified. These are kharif crop. The crop which are shown in the rainy seasons are called kharif crop. The rainy season in India generally from June to September, paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut, and cotton kharif crops. Rabi crop. The crop grown in the winter season, October to March, are called Rabi crop. Example of Rabi crop are wheat, gram, pea, mustard, and linseed. Besides these, pulse and vegetable are grown during summer at many places. Basic Basis practice of crop productions. Why paddy cannot be grown in the winter seasons? Paddy require a lot of water, therefore it is grown only in the rainy seasons. Cultivations of crop involves several activities undertaken by a farmer over a period of time. You may find that these activities are similar to those carried out by a gardener or even by you when you grow ornamental plant in your house. These activities or takes are referred to its agriculture practice which are listed below. Preparations of soil, sowing, adding a manure and fertilization, irrigations, protecting from weeds, harvesting, storage. Preparations of soil. The preparation of soil is the first step before growing a crop. One of the most important tasks in agriculture is to turn the soil and loosen it. This allows the root to feet deep into the soil. The loose soil allows the root to breathe easily, even when they go deep into the soil. Why does the losing of soil allow the root of breathe easily? The loosened soil help in the growth of earthworm and microbes present the soil. These organisms are friend of the farmer since they further turn and loosen the soil and add humus to it. But why the soil need to be turned and loosed? You have learned in the previous classes that soil contain minerals, water, air, some living organism. In addition, dead plants and animals get decomposed by soil organism. In this way, various nutrients in the dead organism are released back into the soil. These nutrients are again absorbed by plant. Since only a few centimeters of the top layer of soil support plant growth, turning and losing of soil bring the nutrients rich soil to the top so that the plant can use these nutrients. Thus, turning and losing of soil is very important for cultivations of crop. The process of losing and turning of the soil is called tilling or plowing. This is done by using a plow. Plow are made of wood and iron. If the soil is very dry, if it may need watering before plowing. The plowing the field may have big clumps of soil called crumbs. It is necessary to break these crumbs. Leveling the field is beneficial for sowing as well as for irrigation. Leveling for soil is done with the help of leveler. Sometimes manure is added to the soil before tilling. This helps in the proper mixing of manure with the soil. The soil is a moisture before a sowing. Agriculture implementation. Before sowing the seed is necessary to break a soil clumps to get the better yield. This is done with the help of various tools. The main tools used for the purpose are the plow, hoe and cultivators. Plow. This is being used since the ancient time for tilling the soil, adding fertilizer to the crop, removing the weeds and turning the soil. This is made of wood and is drawn by a pair of bulls, other animals, horse and camels. It contains strong triangles iron strip called the plow sphere. The main part of the plow is a long wood which is called the plow shaft. There is a handle. If one end of stop, the other end is attached to the beam which is placed on the bull's necks. One pair of bulls and a man can easily operate the plow. The indigenous wooden plow is increasing being replaced by iron plow nowadays. Hoe is a simple tool which is used for removing the weeds and for losing the soil. It has a long rod wood or iron. A strong broad and bent plate of the iron is fixed to one of its ends and works like the blade. It is pulled by the animals. Cultivator. Nowadays, plowing is done by the tractor driven cultivator. The use of cultivator saves labor and times. Cultivator driven by a tractor. Sowing. Sowing is an important part of the crop productions. Before sowing, good quality, clean, healthy seed and good variety are selected from a farmer prefer use seed which gives high yield. Selection step. One day I saw my mother's put some gram seed in a vessels and pour some water on them. After a few minutes some seed started to float on top. I wondered why some seed float on water. Take a beaker and fill half of it with water. Put a hand of a wheat seed and stir well. Wait for some time. Are there seeds which float on water? Would those be the lighter or heavier than those which sink? Why would they lighter? Diamond seeds become hollow and are thus lighter. Therefore, they float on water. This is the good melted from the separating food, healthy seed from the damaged ones. Before sowing, one of the important tasks is to know about the tools using for sowing seed. Traditional sow. The tool used traditionally for sowing seed is shaped like funnel. The seed are filled into the funnel passed down the through. two or three pipes having a sharp end. These end pipes into the soil and place seed there. There, seed drill. Seed drill. Nowadays, a seed drill used for the sowing with the help of tractor. This sows the seed uniformly of equal distance or depth. It ensures that it gets covered by the soil after sowing. This protects the seed from being eaten by birds. Sowing by the using a seed drill 7 times and labor. There is a nursery nearby school. I found that the little plants were kept in small bags. Why are they kept in this? Seed of new plants such as a paddy are first grown in nursery. When they grow into the seeding, they are transplanted to the field manually. Some forest plant and flowering plant are also grown in the nursery. Appropriate distance between the seed is necessary to avoid overcrowding of plant. This allows plant to get sufficient sunlight and nutrients and water from the soil. At times, a few plants may have to be removed to prevent overcrowding, adding a manure or fertilizer. The substance which are added to soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plant are called the manure and fertilizer. I saw healthy crop growing in a farm in the neighbor burning a farm. The plant were weak. Why do some plant grow better than others? Soil supplies minerals, nutrients to the crop plant. These nutrients are essential for growth of plant in certain areas. Farmers grow crops after crops in the same field. The field is never left uncultivated or fallows. Imagine what happened to the nutrients. Continuous cultivations of crop make the soil poor in nutrients. Therefore, the farmer have to add manure to the field to replenish the soil with nutrients. This process is called a manure improper or insufficient manure. Result in weak plant. Manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plant or animal waste. Farmer decomplete animals waste in pits and open place and allow it decompose. The decomposition is caused by some microorganism. The decomposition matter is used as organic matter. You have already learned about the vermicomposting in class 6. Take moong or gram seeds and germinate it there. Select 3 equal size seeding. Take 3 empty glass similar vessels. Mark them A, B, C. To glass, add a little amount of soil mixed with a little cow dung manure. In class B, put the same amount of soil mixed with a little urea. Take the same amount of soil in glass C without adding anything. Now pour off the same amount of water in each glass and plant seeding in them. Keep them in safe place and water them daily after 7 to 10 days. Observe their growth. Did plant in all glasses grow at the same paces? Which glass showed better growth of plant? In which glass was the growth faster? Fertilizers are chemicals which are the rich in particular nutrients. How are they different from manure? Fertilizer are produced in factories. Some example of fertilizer are urea, ammonia, sulfate, superphosphate, potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. The use of fertilizers has helped farmers to get better yield of crops, such as the wheat, paddy, and maize. But excessive use of fertilizer have made the soil less fertile. Fertilizers have also become a source of water pollution. Therefore, in order to maintain the fertility to the soil, we have to substitute fertilizer with the organic manure or leave the field uncultivated in between two crops. The use of manure improves soil textures as well as its water retaining capacity. It replenishes the soil with nutrients. Another method of replenishing the soil with nutrients is through crop rotation. This can be done by growing different crop alternative. Earlier farmer in northern India used to grow legumes as fodder in one season and wheat in next season. This helped in the replenishment of the soil with nitrogen. Farmers are being encouraged to adopt this practice. In this previous class, you have learned about the rhizobium bacteria. These are present in the nodules of the root of leguminous power plant. They fix atmospheric nitrogens. Difference between and manures. Fertilizer is a man-made inorganic salt. Manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle, dung, and plant refuse. Fertilizer is prepared in factories. Manure can be prepared in the field. Fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil. Manure provide a lot of humus to the soil. Fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Manure is relatively less rich in plant nutrients. Table 1 gives the difference between the fertilizers and manure. Advantage of manure. The organic manure is considered better than fertilizer. This is because it enhances the water holding capacity to the soil. It makes the soil porous due to which exchange of gas become easily. It increases the number of friendly microbes. It improves the textures of soil. Irrigations. All living beings need water to live. Water is important for proper growth and development. Water is absorbed by the plant root along with the water's minerals and fertilizer are also absorbed. Plant contain nearly 90% water. Water is essential because germination of seed does not take place. Under dry conditions, nutrients dissolve in water are transported to each part of the plant. Water also protect the crops from the both forest hot airs current to maintain the moisture of the soil. For healthy crop growing fields have to be the waters regular. The supply of waters to the crop at a regular intervals is called irrigations. The times frequency of irrigations variety varies from crop to crop, soil to soil, and season to season. In summer, the frequency of watering is higher. Why is it so? Could be due to the increased rate of evaporation of water from the soil and leaves. I am very careful this year about watering the plants. Last summer, my plant dried up and died. Source of irrigation. The source of water for irrigations are wells, tubewells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, and canals. Traditions method of irrigation. The water available in wells, lakes, and canal is lifted up by different methods, different regions for taking it to the field. Cattle or humans labor is used this method, so these methods are the cheaper but less efficient. The various solutions were mode pulley system, chain pumps, ductless or ductile and rahat lever system. Pumps are commonly used for the lifting water. Diesels, biogas, electricity, and solar energy used to run these pumps. Modern method of irrigations. Modern method of irrigation help us to use water economically. The main method used are as follow. Sprinkle system. This system is more useful on the uneven land where sufficient water is not available. The perpendicular pipes having routing nozzle on top are joined to the main pipeline to regular interval. When water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under pressure with the help of pump, it escapes from the routing nozzle. It gets sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. A sprinkle is very useful for coffees or plantation and several other crops. Drip system. In this system, the water falls drop by drop directly near the root, so it called the drip system. In the best techniques for the watering food plant, gardens, and trees, water is not wasted at all. The its bone reasons for availability of water spore. Protections from wheat. Bojon Pehli went to nearby the wheat field and saw that were some others plant in the field growing along with the wheat plant. Have these other plant have been planted properly. In a field, many other undesirable plants may grow naturally along with this crop. These undesirable plants are called weed. The removal of weed is called weeding. Weeding is necessary since weeds complete with the crop. Plants for water, nutrients, shape, and light. Thus, they affect the growth of the crop. Some weeds interfere even in harvesting and may be poisonous for animals and human beings. Farming adopt many ways to remove weeds and control their growth. Tillings before sowing of crop.